The reason we're having this conversation today, thank you, Dan, is that a client called me and sadly let me know that his wife was diagnosed with cancer. They have a reverse mortgage and he's concerned. He wants to be able to live in long-term care, and we're selling his house. So, Dan, what can you tell us about I hear people ask me all the time, a reverse mortgage is a scam. Can I sell my house? Does the bank get to keep it if I die, or can my children inherit it? So can you clear up just some of the misconceptions? And we'll talk about, I have 3 or 4 questions about, going through the sale of a reverse mortgage for my client here. So what can
Definitely,
you tell
Dave.
us?
Yeah, and Dave, my heart goes out to your client. Hey everybody, I'm Dan. I'm with Cornerstone First Mortgage here, and let's dive into it. There's a lot to unpack. So first off, reverse mortgages have a bad reputation. They were not meant for the consumer prior to 2008. Now there's a ton of regulation in there, and now it's actually a retirement option if you have paid your house down over time and you just don't have the means to retire through low 401k funding or what have you. So it's a pretty safe option to be in. Now, when it comes to planning to sell your house, Dave, the first thing you do with your clients when you're getting a listing appointment or you're planning to list a property, you're going to contact escrow and title and get a net sheet, correct?
Absolutely.
So one of the biggest things to do when you're looking at that is just figure out how much you're paying off with the loan. So the exact payoff amount is going to be super critical when determining how much money you're going to have left over after a purchase. And these can be called in and requested. Some of them can come in as late as 7 to 10 days. Some you call them, they'll give it to you instantly via fax or email as well, depending on the servicer and who they're set up with.
Got it. So what about the proceeds? So timeline, you're saying 7 to 10 days. So it's not like a long drawn out, like it could be as similar as a traditional sale.
Exactly. Yep. And like I said, some are automated. You just call their hotline and you just give them your fax number and they'll fax it right over to you same day.
How about any shortfalls if there aren't enough proceeds? Not this client, fortunately, is going to walk away with plenty, and they'll be able to live out their days or probably weeks or years, hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
uh, out. But what about for those people that Chat GPT told me that if you get a lump sum, it may disqualify you temporarily for Medicaid?
Yeah, and that's something concerning to look out for because if you're selling your property, you're generally not in a good position with the reverse mortgage as well. So I would definitely consult Medicaid and make sure that there aren't going to be or Medicare or Medicaid and make sure there aren't going to be any issues there, and then figure out what determines you to be disqualified from them in that event. So that's a conversation for your servicer and for Medicare and Medicaid. One thing important to note too, I did have a client that did have to sell their house and their house was inherited that was on a reverse mortgage. You want to let the reverse mortgage company know the latest you can. That is the biggest thing because as soon as you inform them that the person that you're going to be selling the property, they might want to do a few things or they might issue some other stuff towards your way. So you want to let them know as late as possible. So that's just one piece of advice for all those there too. Another thing to note, Dave, is the daily interest accrual when it comes to the timeline of selling your house. When you're in a reverse mortgage and you're selling the property, you actually want to sell it in as few days as possible compared to trying to help somebody out and maybe do a 60 or 90-day close. So maybe a concurrent sale might not be within the seller's best interest. Maybe just keeping it to a 31 or 21-day close would be better because of the daily interest that you're receiving from being on a reverse mortgage and receiving payments from that equity. So every
Yeah.
day that goes by is a dollar that is getting taken away from your client if you're
Can you
trying to maximize.
define? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying if you're trying to maximize their money, every dollar every day is money that they're not getting in their pocket. It's going to the bank.
And can you define concurrent? Because some people might not know what you mean by concurrent. So,
For sure. Yeah. Our lingo here. So if somebody is selling their property to buy your client's property, what they're trying to do is sell theirs, get the money, and then send that money over to the property that you're selling, Dave. And so that might not be in your client's best interest because this property is going to be on the market for X amount of days. And that's going to require your property to stay on the market for X amount of days. And then if you go into escrow, maybe you might say, okay, let's do a 60-day close. That'll give you a month to sell your property and you'll have enough proceeds to go and we'll do another month to sell ours. That 60-day timeline is 60 days of interest that your client is getting hit for. So it's better if for your scenario to maybe avoid looking at those offers and then look for somebody who has the means to buy it and close in 21 days to 30 days. Ideally, the shorter time frame, the better. So maybe a cash buyer might actually be the best remedy for this one and do like a 14-day close with them.
In other words, concurrent means to close at the same time.
Correct. Yep.
Correct.
They sell and then the money goes over to your property. They buy it, happens concurrently. And I think it'd be best to review the offers and figure out who can close the fastest for your client.
Great. Hey, how do they get a hold of you if they're looking at a reverse or even a traditional mortgage?
Yeah, absolutely. The best way to get a hold of me is my phone number. It is 619-248-8318. Or my Instagram, you can go on there. It is LAVERLENDS, Laver Lens on Instagram. Ask me all the questions you need.
Great. And we'll put it in the description below if you need to get a hold of Dan. Dan, thanks so much for your time. And I'll be getting that information over to you. He still could be out, a couple months. So I'll be requesting those documents from you shortly. Thanks, bud.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Dave.
All right. Bye-bye.